Hello guys, and welcome back to the Dr. Y podcast. It's been a while, Chris.
It has.
We've taken, well, you know how last time we said we were going to talk about how we would write Flux and all that stuff? Life has happened to both of us, so that has not happened.
I did it.
Well, I didn't.
I didn't write it down as I intended, but I got it in my head.
I don't have it in my head, and I haven't written it down. The university became a thing, and that's been a lot of work. So yeah, we just haven't been doing that. But Power of the Doctor, Jodie's regeneration episode has happened.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was good. It was.
The second half was good.
It was good. Just like always, me and Chris have differing opinions, and that's good because you won't have different opinions, or it'll just be a vacuum of opinions and stuff, and that's not good. So yeah, let me actually move my microphone so it's in the right position to get my fucking voice. Yeah, I swore in the first 4 minutes. What are you gonna do, YouTube? What are you gonna do?
I wonder if I need to change my camera settings to. I'm not gonna lie. It is obvious that there's something wrong with the lighting.
Yes.
In my background.
Yes.
I wonder if I need to change the exposure. Is that right? Yeah.
You can change the exposure.
I remember now.
If there's something, if you're watching on the YouTube version, on the G3 channel, you can see a video version. I know most people don't watch the video version, that's fine. But yeah, you can see that Chris's camera's awful right now. It's terrible.
Yeah, can you... I don't know the camera settings. Can you help me?
Let's go through the episode like we normally do. Then we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to talk about what happened after the episode with that teaser for the 60th, which is in November next year.
Should have been the next time trailer.
Should have. But yeah, let's talk about this. First thing that happens in the episode, I wrote notes, but then I stopped halfway through because I actually got into the episode a lot and I just didn't write anything. We see.
I told you the second half was better. We
see a space train kind of fly through the sky, and then these guys kind of just get attacked by Cybermen. They wipe out all the Cybermen, and as soon as they do that, I'm like, oh wait, Cybermasters. Oh yeah, they can regenerate.
Yeah,
because I was like,
I hate that. What's the point of that? Because they're already dead.
But they come back.
Killed dead people, and now they're regenerating.
It was weird because I was like, they got.
And why don't you just kill them again while they're regenerating?
Because I don't think everyone knows how regeneration works. You know,
the Doctor knows that.
Well, the Doctor is a pacifist.
Yeah, but they're Cybermen.
Yeah, but the ends justify the means. So
in this situation, they're already dead people.
Yeah, they get wiped out, but they regenerate, and then the people who were wiped out, the Cybermasters, send out an SOS, and the Doctor answers. The Doctor comes to save the people on the space train.
Hold on, I've just looked at the first shot again, and they've literally just taken like a CGI version of the Earth and covered it with like red.
It's weird.
Like red desert spots on it. It's literally the same as the Earth.
It's weird.
But it's a lot more red.
That's why I was yeah. My question I had writing this is, do Cybermasters have the 12 regeneration limit, or are they unlimited regenerations?
Is it 507?
It's never going to be... That was a joke he sold to Clyde, Chris. Get that out of your head.
I do not care. Like maybe the Doctor got given an extra regeneration cycle. Maybe the limit is 507.
That was Matt Smith's. It was way before that. You're a piece of shit.
I don't care.
He was making a joke to. I hate.
What is more canon, Russell T Davies or Stephen Moffat?
That they're the same.
Who do you trust more?
They're the same equal canon. Yeah. I wrote that the music in the intro sequence was very good because I really like Sagan's the Cybermen theme. I just like everything else was just the same.
That's his best piece of music.
It was just the same dum 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 music, and I was like, I don't care. But whenever the Cybermen came, I was like, do do dum do dum dum do dum. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Oh my god, I loved it so much. I really like the Cybermen theme. The Cybermen revealed that they were looking for a piece of cargo. Then Dan gets shot in the face as the Doctor and Dan and Yaz go to save these people on the space train. His mask gets a hole in it. He starts to suffocate in the air. The Doctor doesn't really notice it because the Doctor's in the moment, right? So we start to suffocate. They go back onto the ship. Everything's fine. You can see that Dan is starting to contemplate something because he looks at the crack on his thing.
Away if he's suffocating in space?
Nah. It's like he wouldn't die straight away. Oh
no, his head would explode.
Okay. They get on the ship, and the Doctor and Yaz meet with the people who survived the Cybermen attack. The Doctor gives Dan her sonic screwdriver to slow down the train, but Dan accidentally makes it go faster. That was a little funny. Not the funniest, but
yes, because Dan's the idiot from Liverpool.
Slapstick comedy.
We all love it for it.
The cyber monsters end up opening this cargo, and inside is a child. I instantly was like, "Is this a timeless child retcon?"
Yeah, I thought that was the timeless child, and they were going to put the timeless child in place.
I was like, "Whoa, is this a time? Are they really going to retcon this?" Later on, you figure out
is that little girl, but like 18 months older.
Yeah, who knows? Is that the Doctor when they were younger? Maybe the Doctor can speak to her. But no, it's not the timeless child because it's not the timeless child.
No, it's a shame. Who was that child even?
We'll talk about it in a second. It's very weird. The Cybermonsters, end up opening the cargo inside as a child. And then we go to Ace, who's in an art gallery in London 2022. Yes. One of the exhibits are missing.
Which art gallery is it? Because it's clearly London. Is it the National Gallery again?
I think so. It's also really weird because they obviously filmed it there, but they can't take the art down. So they put a green screen. And you can see on the lady, the maitre d', whatever, the lady who walked up to Ace, there was a green halo around her from the green screen. And it was very, very obvious.
But it's also a lot of the art can't be filmed, so I imagine they also had other problems.
Probably. But yeah. Then you see Ace in like a cafeteria having lunch, talking to Tegan. One thing that's really weird to me: how do these women know how to FaceTime? Because if I'm trying to tell another woman in real life who's their age how to FaceTime, they have no idea what to do.
I know, right?
These women are like, everyone FaceTime.
It's literally just because they had to learn how to use Zoom to make Big Finish audios. That's the only reason they know how to use them.
That's funny. The Doctor,
that's probably correct, actually,
apparently sent Tegan Ashad, like a Russian doll of Ashad, which is obviously the Ashad that was shrunk with the miniaturization device that the Master has. But instantly I was like, it wasn't from the Doctor, it's from the Master. Like, we know it's from the Master. At this point, the episode kind of slowed down for me personally, and I was kind of getting a little bit bored. Like, I was like, where are we going to this? And I was kind of worried that they were going to write Ash and Tegan really badly because while I love the plot this episode had,
did you
the
just
dialogue.
Say Ash and Tegan?
Yes.
Ace and Tegan.
Fuck! I meant Ace. No, I think I might have been saying Ash this whole time. Oh no. Ace.
I think the first time you got it right.
Ace and Tegan. But yeah, while I love Ace and Tegan portrayal in this episode, my one worry was that they were going to be written really awfully. Like, Chibnall can't write dialogue, but the plot in this episode was actually really good, and I think that's what held this episode to me.
Yeah, because the reason why I don't like the first half nearly as much is because it's clearly the setup to that. Because in filmmaking, the midpoint is always the lowest point, and the first half was clearly building up to it, but because I didn't know what it was building up to, and the dialogue was so bad, I was like, this isn't very good. And
Chibnall kept the thing where he constantly does the thing where they're doing something and they say what they're doing so people know what they're doing. Like, I'm picking up a pen now. Yeah. I'm like, can you just do it? I don't need to like it happens later on when they talk about the what the actual girl from the cargo is, and I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's like, the girl is tied up in chains.
This girl is this thing.
It's like we can see that. Like, when you're like, I can understand someone writing it in the script, but when you're on the set and it's clear what's going to be on the screen, you can take lines out.
So even
it's really easy.
You're writing the action of a script saying the girl is tied up by chains. You don't need to write like dialogue. The character going, "Oh my god, she's tied up by chain." You can see that.
The thing is, it's all like Chibnall only does it like half the time. Because like when there's the other TARDIS with the ha 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 on the door, he doesn't. No one says, "Oh look, it says ha 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 ha."
Exactly.
No one says that because it's obvious. But then there's other why is it only half and half?
It's a but the next thing we have is Dan decides to leave Team TARDIS as he nearly died and doesn't really want to risk it. He wants to go back to his normal life, and he thanks the Doctor for showing him how to live, and he will take those lessons from her back to his regular life. I was actually kind of like, they're really just getting rid of my favorite thing in, like, my favorite companion out of all of them just now already. I was kind of disappointed about that, but I get
he wasn't in most of the rest of it, was he?
No, he was pretty absent. He was there in the end, but he was pretty absent in the rest of the episode.
I remember hearing summer last year when they were filming it that he went off on a cruise. He was was the entertainer on a cruise while they were still filming this episode, and I was like, oh, he must have left at the end of Legend of the Sea Devils. But he didn't. He's left early on here. But he still appears, and then he becomes as regular as Graham, which we'll get to.
We'll get to that. A Dalek transmits themselves into the TARDIS, saying that they mean no harm. They have information for both humans and Daleks alike, and ask to meet the Doctor immediately, offering the power to defeat the Daleks as the Dalek feels they have lost what made them Daleks. Talking back to something from the original series of Doctor Who, I forgot what the fuck, Carleds? That's what they are.
Carleds.
Which if you could, you probably know more of it than I do, but Carleds are like the original inhabitants of Skaro. They're like these humanoid figures.
It's basically like the Carleds were like the Nazis during World War II, and then the Daleks was like the Aryans that like Davros wants to like make everyone into these Aryans.
Was Davros a Carled?
Davros was a Carled.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So
Carleds were the original inhabitants, and a Carled made the Daleks, and I'm guessing the Daleks killed them all because they're Daleks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But, I didn't like this bit because the Doctor said, "Oh, a good Dalek, that's new," and I'm thinking
we met good Daleks.
It's not new because we've had Rusty, we've had Clara, and we've had another one.
The human Dalek.
The human Dalek, yeah. And it's like
Dalek Sec? I can't remember.
You cannot just say, "Oh, a good Dalek, that's new," because we've had it so many times before now.
Yeah,
like even Davros could be considered a good Dalek in some cases. Davros
showed compassion, and it was kind of proven that, like, especially because the idea that the Daleks, the whole Capaldi episode with Daleks learning the idea of fear.
Yeah,
I like that episode. But yeah,
I love the fact in that episode. Oh no, that didn't even happen. No, that's what people said should have happened. I'm being really stupid. I haven't seen it in ages. I was thinking, he when he died, he didn't actually die, and then suddenly he just turns up again. He's like, "Ha ha! I made you sad about me." Sorry. That's more in character than what happened in the episode.
Doctor. But yes, the Doctor is kind of reluctant, and it kind of leaves the Dalek on red. But we get back to that later because this is a plot thread which actually something happened to them.
This one really was a long episode.
It was.
I was at a point expecting a cliffhanger. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry,
but it just never came. And actually, I kind of like how long it was.
It felt like what they thought they thought Series 11 was gonna be.
Yeah,
with like miniature movies. This felt like a miniature movie.
Well, it's not really miniature. It's quite a.
It's over 40 minutes. It's a feature length movie, basically.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, it felt like a movie. The production quality was great. We'll get into it and we give our ratings out of 10. But
it was clearly made separately because even though it was filmed immediately after Series 13, it was written separately. And it was, I believe, given a separate budget.
It seems so. It got a lot of budget. It got a lot of budget.
Yeah. I mean, that like Russian building that they're in St. Petersburg is absolute. I don't know whether it's a real building or it's just really good sets, but it is so beautiful.
Really good. Talking about St. Petersburg, they track down the child to 1916 St. Petersburg. And it reveals that Rasputin is the master. Wow, it's not like we didn't see the promotional footage already. I know that Rasputin's the master.
I wonder whether Rasputin exists in the Doctor Who universe, or if the Master killed him. Like,
I
did
think
the Master kill him, or was he
what
always
I
the Master?
assume is that he was always the Master. That's what I'm
Yeah,
getting from it. Not like
yeah.
Rasputin. Like, like I don't think he's like shrunk the Rasputin and then dressed up as him. No, I think he was just always that.
Yeah, I think he always was. Yeah,
The Master somehow
but they
has.
didn't really say.
This is also a really cool thing. They bring back the Master's like hypnosis ability.
Yes.
By looking to that, again, this is a heavy fan service episode, and
Yeah, there is
good.
so much. Yeah, there was so much stuff that like is set off in previous episodes, and they don't even like give it that much attention, even though in some cases it's been decades since.
Which is why I like it, because they just let it happen.
Yeah,
and if a new fan's like, "Why does he do that?" They'll look up and say, "Oh, there was in this episode of Classic Who," and then I'll watch the episode. Yeah. This is getting this is getting BritBox subscribers, bro.
Like... Yeah, I need to get BritBox.
The Cybermen take the child to the second moon in the sky, which is what Rasputin, the Master, talks about as one of his like talking with one of these women who are brainwashed by him. I can hear myself in the background of you, by the way.
Oh yeah, because I don't have headphones. I don't have headphones to connect to the computer, and I don't know why.
The Cybermen take the child to the second moon in the sky, where Yaz and the Doctor find a second TARDIS. It's a TARDIS that says "ha ha 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 ha" on it. They go inside and it's Jodie's TARDIS interior, but basically it has this weird thing where the main crystal is, and it's purple.
It's all purple.
They realize that the core of the TARDIS has been placed in the center of this second moon. And then they walk outside the TARDIS and they see the child chained up as they were looking for an energy source. The child is the energy source. They reveal that the child is something called the Quarunx. And it was using a perception filter to look like something you want to protect. So in this version, what the Doctor and Yaz wanted to protect most is a child.
It's a child, yeah.
But yeah, the idea is that it was a really powerful power source which they were using to power the planet, right? The Doctor asks why the Cyberman needs a device that can power whole planets, and then they attack the Doctor, who goes back into the TARDIS and gets an SOS from Kate.
Yes, I was terrified at this point because when they showed the unit building, I thought Chibnall has done it. Chibnall has literally just taken everything we planned and ruined it over the course of Series 13. But then they destroyed the building, and I was like, oh, thank goodness. But they also didn't really explain where the building came from, so like that's something that we go into.
Yeah, because wasn't there budget cuts?
It could have worked.
Wasn't there budget cuts?
Budget cuts.
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, but budget cuts.
Because wasn't that also the Grand Serpent like budget cut unit or something? Remember from Flux?
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's just turn up with this like massive new headquarters.
Yep.
Which is interesting. But then again, they never explain where it's from, so it could be.
One thing I do like is that Kate actually had something to do in this episode compared to what she was in the part. Like she actually did stuff.
Yeah, that was so good.
Like she did stuff. Like, I was happy.
She's felt. This is where she felt more of a character than ever before. Like she was never this prominent in like the Zygon two-parter or the Doctor. Like she actually did. If
she was like this from the very beginning, it would have been a good fit for her, like as a replacement for the Brigadier. You know,
yeah, exactly.
It was good. It was good. I like it. So the Doctor goes to unit, and the Doctor is revealed by Kate that they have some special advisors, which is Tegan and Ace. Tegan is not happy to see the Doctor.
Tegan looks very different.
Yeah, but Tegan's not happy to see the Doctor, and rightfully so. A lot of shit happened to Tegan.
I'm trying to remember how she even left at the end. She chose to leave.
Yeah, I think she and Ace.
Dark story.
I think she and Ace both chose to leave.
No, Ace was abandoned. It was ditched. But I think that they were sort of playing off the idea that like the show was cancelled, so they just ditched all the actors. And they're just playing off that. But with Tegan, there was this really dark story that like the show got into so much trouble for it being that dark. Like it was literally just like the villains were police officers, and they were going around shooting random people at like 5 p.m. in the afternoon.
Jesus.
And I mean, that was when the show was on, and yeah, in the end, like she was just like, I can't do this, I have to leave, and she was already in London, so she just walked home.
Because what's it called? What's the episode? Earthshock?
Oh, Earthshock with Adric.
Yeah. That was mentioned in this episode.
Yeah, that was the perfect thing for the Doctor to say. Even though it was the hologram, that was the perfect thing for him to say at that point. Like, what do you think of when you see Cybermen, Adric?
It's just good fan service. Good fan service.
It is. It's a really good fan service. It's like the show was never cancelled and they just continued referencing, so everyone just knows what everything is.
It's just it feels like it felt the closest to classic Who New Who has been since the 50th, I would say.
No, like before that, like ever.
You say ever? Cool.
Yeah, no, because the 50th was all about like the Time War and stuff. There wasn't really anything in it that was particularly the whole show.
Because we'll get back to some. Because if you think this is the last of the old Who stuff they bring up, no. They bring back a lot of concepts and a lot of cool things and a lot of people.
I wish that now that I've seen like this episode, I wish Chibnall had done so many more references to classic Who instead of completely rebooting.
Other than doing stuff with what was it?
Oh, Timeless Child
and the 7th Doctor's storyline. 7th, yeah. Was it 7th?
Oh no, that was actually quite a lot different in the end. The Timeless Child from that 7th Doctor.
But it's obviously trying to talk about that, and the stuff with the Great Intelligence. No, not the Great Intelligence. Fuck, what's it called? The Dalek sounding thing that Tom Baker's Doctor talked with, and he had the brain thing, and it showed the former lives.
Oh, the brain of Morbius.
That's the one.
Yeah. Oh, the brain of Morbius.
That stuff too. Ooh, they tried to bring that back as well. Child.
Well, the brain of Morbius was supposed to then like lead to a reveal that the Doctor was on his 12th incarnation.
Yes.
But then they backed out because they thought actually this isn't a good idea, which probably shows that they never should have touched it again.
Yeah,
even if I do like what they had in mind with the 7th Doctor.
The thing that's they didn't like. Let's do that, said Chibnall. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yes, Kate shows that a lot of the history's art has been replaced with Rasputin, aka the Master, and I love Tegan and Ace's reaction to that's the Master now.
Oh, I hated the one which was the Last Supper. Like that really made me hate you.
That one must have irked you. With Christian boys.
Yeah, it really did. Like, the others were really funny. Like the one with the
screaming face. Yeah, that was good.
Like that was such bad Photoshop, and it just made it so much better.
It was good. And then on the screen, the Master comes up, and he kind of invites the Doctor to one of his lectures on volcanic explosions and tectonic plates. But yeah, it's revealed that the Master obviously left the TARDIS on that second moon and made it look like Jodie's TARDIS to piss her off.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor touches Ace and Tegan, and a bit of static goes off. I was very confused what the fuck was going on. I was like, oh, she's about to regenerate again.
I wish Tegan had said you're all static. As like, you know, like trying to say first it's a static electricity, and then Ace says actually that's an electric shock. I think that would have been much more natural.
Interesting.
As opposed to the other way around.
The Doctor goes through the Master's lecture, but the people who go to talk, who went to the talk originally were miniaturized. Which is really dark. I was like, holy shit, that's kind of dark. The Master warns the Doctor to leave Earth or she will be erased from existence. And he kind of talks to Yaz and kind of like I'm going to talk about my own personal film. He feels very Red Saint there.
he does, but it's like the only moment he does. Like it's more John Sims Master.
He very much stood there and he was like, Because when he was talking to us, like, I know the doctor believes me because the doctor knows that I'm not lying, but I also know the doctor. I know that she's not gonna leave because that's what she would do. So yes, I'm kind of winning here. I'm like, man, he's such a dickhead.
I feel like that was him being much more manipulative than the Red Saint would ever be, though, because the Red Saint would just be like, would just start maniacally laughing as if he can't control himself, whereas he was much more restrained. He was much more in control of himself.
Then
so I didn't really get that vibe.
Unit comes in and then arrests the Master, and the Master kind of laughs it off. I really like Sasha, the one without the facial hair. I think he looks way better without the facial hair. Like, you know how in series 12, series 12 he had a beard.
He did have, he had the facial hair then, yeah.
In series 12 he had the beard, and I think without the facial hair, he looks way better.
Yeah.
Because it adds, I don't know what, it makes him, it gives him that, like, how do I say it? It gives him that Matt Smith effect, where he looks young, but he has this age to him, right?
Yes, I agree. He does look like he looks someone much older than his. He feels like someone much older than how he looks.
Exactly.
Like Matt Smith was,
and I think that's.
I would argue he still does have a beard.
Well, no, later on he grows a beard.
No, I mean, the Doctor is his beard because he's secretly gay, and we know that the Doctor is already gay in this incarnation. So it makes the Doctor's
gay in every incarnation. Think about it. The Doctor is into women, but also can be woman. The Doctor is also gay.
But
also, so I swear to God that there was like a subtext that the Master and the Doctor have dated at one point. Like,
I feel like they must have.
They have to have dated at some point.
Yeah,
like
they probably like dated at school.
Yeah, during the Time Lord University stuff. The academy.
I feel like the Master said at one point in this episode, "Oh, you were a naughty schoolgirl, weren't you?" It was something like that. It feels sort of like Dumbledore and Grindelwald, where it's like they both have this like evil like in their past, and the Doctor is like grown from it and like is just not interested anymore. Whereas
the Master's clinging onto it.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. If
I can't do that because it's already been done in Harry Potter. So.
If I was the Doctor showrunner, I would make them have a love story, a really tragic love story, like Shakespearean-esque love story, just really sad.
Like the Master's trying to cling onto it, and the Doctor's like, I am repulsed by you now.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the line in Sherlock. Where have you seen Sherlock?
I still haven't.
You need to watch it. It's very good. It's really good. There's a line where I don't want to spoil the episode, but a reporter basically goes to Sherlock because Sherlock's becoming really famous, and she just goes to him and says, Sherlock says to her, "You repulse me," because he hates reporters. And then later on, when he's looking for someone to help him, he goes to her and she responds back, "You repulse me," and it's really cool. It just reminds me of that. That's fun. But yeah, they go to arrest the Master. They take the Master into the TARDIS, and he reveals he's injected the Cybermen into himself, which has increased his intelligence, and he can kind of see it all. Daleks give the Doctor coordinates. A really cool detail was how the Master was really fucking scared that he saw coordinates from Daleks. He was like, "Are those Dalek coordinates? Are the Doctor Daleks?" But obviously, you realize later on that he was playing along.
He's working with them already. Like, he's such a good master manipulator.
I love it.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? Sasu Dewan might have it all. Like, might have like every quality that the master needs to possess. Like,
he's really good.
He can be a master manipulator, and he can be completely insane at the same time.
He's really good. He might be my favorite master.
I still think I prefer the original one.
He might be my favorite master. Well, I haven't seen the original master, which is the thing. But
you need to, because there's a line in this episode where the master says to the brigadier's daughter, "Okay, like your dad was so stupid. Like your dad was an idiot," and that is literally like 3 whole seasons worth of Master Brigadier dynamic from like every single episode, like in those 3 seasons, summed up in one line, and it was just perfect line for it.
It's weird to have us be so positive of a Chibnall episode.
It's weird. I know. I said this before we started. I feel like Russell helped him like with the scene breakdown, but then didn't help with the script.
Maybe.
I feel like that makes a lot more sense because the thing is, Katie Manning, who plays Jo Jones, she said that she came back because Russell was involved, but Russell wasn't officially involved until like a year later. Like he wasn't. Well, no, I think it was actually like 5 months later. But even so, it was like after filming that they revealed, oh yeah, Bad Wolf, Russell T Davies. So I feel like he was probably hired to do the handover and then was just offered the job as showrunner.
We're going to talk about how you can instantly notice the difference between the old production company and the Bad Wolf production.
Yeah, it's the same camera shot, but it looks so different.
You can notice it instantly. It's crazy.
It's the same camera shot with the same TARDIS, with the same CSO background, but it's so much different at the same time.
It's insane. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Vinder comes out of a wormhole and lands on the Cybermen moon to find the Quarant. But then he finds the Master's TARDIS. That's just a little scene that happens. The Master teases Ace and Tegan and Kate about pre-revival stuff. And it's kind of cool. So this is the stuff we were talking about. The Master kind of talking about the Daleks, Brigadier, Tegan.
Yeah. And then he's making fun of people.
Yeah, and bringing back stuff from like old Who. It's really cool.
Yeah.
As the Master gets left up, he makes a joke about being human intolerant.
Oh my goodness, darling! I don't seem to have the room service menu when he's in the prison cell.
My favorite.
That is a reference to a classic Who story where he was like at the end of one story he was locked up in a prison and then the Doctor goes and visits him in another story and he's pretending that he's like in this horrible cell, and then the Doctor leaves and he says to the prison guard, "I'm thinking of having another colour tunnel vision for the bedroom."
He makes a joke here about being human intolerant, and that got a laugh out of me. I was like,
yeah, yes. It was like is he eating human or is he referring to the guards?
It's funny. The Doctor is flying and Yaz is asking what's going on. The Doctor's kind of like being dismissive of her, like she has been her whole run. She questions why they are still needing the Doctor right now. She tries to touch Yaz and there's another static explosion.
They
arrive.
Sorry, she tries to touch Yaz.
Shut up. They arrive in Bolivia inside the volcano where the Dalek wanted to meet the Doctor. And the Doctor and Yaz split up. The Doctor meets with the Dalek. The Dalek asks the Doctor to extract some information with the device on his helmet. She goes, dunk! She puts it on and starts to extract the information. Then we cut back to Yaz, and she finds out there's more Daleks in the volcano. Which is meant to make people think, oh, that Dalek that the Doctor's talking to is betraying her, right? That was the first thing that went to my mind. But obviously, well, not obviously, but later on,
that Dalek doesn't realise. It's too stupid to realise what's going on.
He also should have been like, we should have met somewhere else instead of literally where we're based. That Dalek is absolutely fucking stupid.
It is so stupid.
The Master reveals he gave Tegan a shad as a plan to plant the Cybermen inside of Unit and free himself. There's a really cool scene where the Ashad miniature grows and splits open, kind of like the... You remember the device the Time Lords had in the one Cyberman episode, Doomsday, I think it was.
Doomsday, yeah. I think so.
Where they had the Dalek device, and they're like, this is Dalek technology, and the Dalek's like, no, it is Time Lord technology. It was a prison to keep Daleks, right? And it opens up and it spins, and it shoots out. I like the fact that like it's a little bit of a callback to that. So like the Master obviously invented a thing to keep things inside it like that.
He might have even invented the one in Doomsday. He was like part of the Time War.
But yeah, it's the thing grows and then out comes some of the Dalek not Daleks, Cybermen, and you hear the.
I love how he's saying it's like a Russian doll. Do you know what he means?
Yes, exactly. And then more things come out, and then Ashad come out.
Like you open it up and there's something else, and you open that up, and
this is where I realized that all the writing stuff went to the master, because everything he says in this episode is gold, in my opinion.
It really is. It really is. And like there were so many other like characters who get really bad dialogue and they cannot pull it off. And then the master gets really good stuff, and he has like one or two really bad lines, and he manages to make it work anyway.
It's just
like
really good. There was really good.
Back when, just before he was in prison, when he was in that like auditorium space, and he was like, I pinky promisey, and he's like coming up with all of these different EDs. And pinky promisey, I was looking at the subtitles for that, and I was like, oh, he's going to say that in such a cringe way. And then he didn't. He made it work. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's such an amazing actor.
I pinky promisey. It was really good. So Ashad grows, out comes some Daleks. Out comes some Cybermen, and also Ashad, and he kind of reveals that he cloned the Ashad, and this version of the clone is subservient to the master. Then Ace gets some guns from underneath Unit, and reveals that the Unit kind of have these guns dotted all over the place in case they get attacked.
Under the floor. Yep. This is what that made me wonder whether if they were going to say what we're planning to say, that because Unit lost its funding, she gave up her charity headquarters to be the Unit headquarters instead. And so like you have all this up on the floors which belongs to her because it's her building and she knows all the secrets, but then they never said it.
No.
It would just make so much sense.
But they brought out these guns, which is weird to see Tegan use a gun.
Yeah, it is weird to see. It's weird seeing like a 50-odd-year-old woman like trying to look cool with a gun, and Ace can make it work and Tegan can't.
And the idea is that they had these guns are shooting gold bullets because they're Cybermen, right? But then Ashad reveals.
I was wondering whether are they gold plated or are they solid gold?
Because if it's solid gold, that's expensive.
Yeah.
But then Ashad reveals that yes, we have long during like Nightmare. Is it Nightmare and Silver? Long ago, have discovered a way
the evolution stuff.
Yeah, to get rid of our susceptibility to gold, so they are not susceptible to gold. Which is a little cool callback.
I couldn't tell what that was a callback to, and so I'm glad you said that it was Nightmare and Silver.
Yeah, it was Nightmare and Silver, where they remove their ability to because the Cybermaster and now we know how to deal with gold. A lot of people who are not British hate that episode.
Yeah, loads of people don't like that one. I think it's a 9 out of 10. Honestly.
I like how it's just Matt Smith acting.
Yeah. He's literally like Matt Smith is this like chess master.
He's doing a theatre production. That's basically what he's doing.
Yeah, he literally is. And then at the end, he gets like this gold ticket for the the ticket for the theme park, and he just sticks it on the side of his face, and he just destroys all the Cybermen.
Funny. Yeah. Where were we? The Doctor takes
attack.
Yeah, and then they kind of run away.
Well, the way that the Master frees himself is so clever because Ashad like just opens the door.
Ashad fucking murders these two guards.
Blows up the metal bars, and then the Master like takes out one of the dolls and sticks it in. Oh no, takes out a metal bar and just like smashes up this. He smashes up this like
I think it's a door control system
that gives him a teleport, and it's so clever.
It's the idea like he's like placed that there ages ago.
Yeah, and like the fact he said before, like when he's like joking around about I'm human intolerant and stuff like that. He's saying I'm just trying to lighten the mood before you die, and it's like he already knows, like he knows exactly how he's going to be free. And that's
the stuff that I wish this whole era did. It's just because if this was an episode, if this was written like series 11, the Master would have said as he brings it out, "Oh, I can't. I'm so thankful that I put this here 4,000 years ago," or something like that. Like, I know you placed it there. I know you placed it there. I know it's part of your plan. You don't need to tell me this, but I'm happy that he didn't.
But this is the thing, though. It's clear that Chibnall is really good at writing like villains, and then the Doctor is just this like very plain good guy character who's not the focus. The Master is clearly the focus, and if every episode was like the Master is the focus, who's he working with this week, references to Classic Who knows what classic companions are gonna like turn up this week, that would be a really interesting era. And he just never did it.
You could have even had like, because I know they tried to do Monster of the Week, but like companion of the week or something like that.
Oh,
imagine that. You'd
run out eventually.
Who knows?
You'd run out quite quickly.
You can call up all the people from fucking T. Davis's era because he had like fucking 9 billion people.
Oh yeah, like 1 week you have Luke. The next week you have Clyde.
Anyone.
The next week you have, and then you have Yanto, even though he's already dead.
Yeah.
And then like Owen and Tosh, and then
who are also dead
from that one episode.
Or you can call up the random cab driver from when Donna was getting married. You can call him up. You can bring back Donna's mother, but they are bringing back Donna and Donna's mother.
What about the guy? He was like Donna's boyfriend for that one Christmas special. Not the guy she married, but the guy who was the villain. Like, just suddenly he's there for an episode. And he's got to try and pretend to the Doctor he's still a good guy because his plan hasn't succeeded yet. Like, he hasn't got to the Christmas special yet.
Whatever. But like it's just. It could have been cooler.
Yeah.
But yeah. We go back to the volcano, and the Dalek was a spy, but they get caught, and the Dalek is killed. The Doctor is forced into the Dalek's casing so they can travel back in time.
Yeah, that was really clever.
So they take the Doctor back to St. Petersburg, where it's revealed that the Master is working with the Cybermen and the Daleks. The fact that they hate the Doctor more is what allows them to work together.
There were two things I wanted to say about this bit. One was, initially I was trying to work out whether this was before the Master went to the prison at UNIT or whether it was after, and then I realised it's going to be after because people won't understand if it was before. So
the Rasputin stuff is after.
Yeah. The second thing though is he kept like skirting around the name the Daleks Master Plan, because that's the name of a Classic Who story. So it's like the Master's Dalek Plan, the Cyber Dalek Master Plan. And he keeps saying like variations of it, but not the actual one.
Because it's another nod to old Classic Who.
Yeah, I'm brilliant. And the fact that story is one where only like 3 episodes out of like 14 still exist. Like it barely exists at all. And yet they're referencing it in 2022. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, they think that it just like how the second Doctor turned into the third. The Master is going to use tech to force her to regenerate.
Yes,
which is again another nod back to Classic Who.
Well, actually, he said, "Oh, you've done it once before, maybe a couple of times." And that couple of times is a reference to the mini episode with Paul McGann.
No, but I think it's a reference that like every time the Doctor's been forced to regenerate. So like,
those are the 2 times.
So like the original time where the second turned to the third.
Actually, I guess when Matt Smith regenerated, that was kind of a forced regeneration.
Matt Smith, Paul McGann turned into the War Doctor. Second into third. All these moments where the Doctor has been...
Even John Hurt turning into the 9th Doctor, arguably.
Well, that is that Doctor died of old age.
Yeah, but
then you see Matt Smith's Doctor last for like millions and millions of years or whatever. So I like that they bring back the idea of like forced regeneration. I'm like, because I rewatched all the regeneration, and it's good. I will talk about this now because the Doctor, and this is really good for the marketing team, by the way, because they were releasing on YouTube all the former regenerations.
Yes.
So you can watch them in as high quality as you possibly could.
They re-release that video like once every year.
So well, the idea is like they released that, and I know specifically that they released the second Doctor's regeneration, and that's the one where they are forced to regenerate. And I'm thinking that's really cool how they use that bit of promotion as a way for you to understand that this is a classic Who thing.
Have you seen the full version of that? Because it's so much more interesting.
Yes, where it spins round and it's like, ooh.
No. It was more of a fan film, but John Pertwee was in it, and so it's kind of half official. Where he started the regeneration, and then they call him back. Basically, they stop it halfway through because they want him to go on different missions, and so it's this other guy. It's a new actor that looks like kind of like Patrick Charlton and kind of like John Pertwee. And then at the end, he regenerates fully into John Pertwee. And it is such an interesting video.
Interesting. I'll look for that. It's later revealed after a funny Rasputin dance, which I loved. Because it reminded me of John Sims' Master.
I wanted to say, I started watching that. And that was literally the point where I was like, okay, this is actually getting good now. Because I started watching it, I was like, oh, this is so cringe. And I was like, hold on, didn't John Sim do the same thing but with Voodoo Child? And then I suddenly got really into it, and I was like, yeah.
Chibnall understood the Master this episode to a T.
He really did. I would argue he's always understood the Master.
I think that's probably why the Master's his big bad.
Yeah.
But like the Master was the Master here. He was dancing, being a fucking lunatic, taunting
that was very insane.
It was it was like, and then he says he was going to turn and he said he was going to turn the Doctor into him. I was writing my notes on here, so I didn't really pay attention to it until later on. I realized that they swapped bodies. But then the Master's body was, but then the Master's body was dead. So it was like, that's why the Doctor can't come back, and it's really weird.
Well, no, something I don't think you noticed, but I picked up on it. Is the way that the Master is dancing to Rasputin is exactly how you wrote the Red Saint. Even though you'd cut that bit out, what you planned for Saint, well, when it was Waltz, the way that the Red Saint is dancing when he gets a date with Dana, it's literally the same thing. Except he's not smoking.
It is. What a time.
Chibnall's seeing our work. He's like hacking in.
He's seeing our emails on our Google Doc.
Yeah.
Master's turning Earth into a Dalek and cyber production facility. Yasha has to fight back, but the Master gets in her face, and it's honestly terrifying in this scene. He gets in his face. Sasha Dewan is spitting. It's fucking insane. He's like really up in her face, and he's like, I think Yasha's trying to fight back, being like, "You're not the Doctor." And he's like, "Yes, I am. I'm the Doctor. Look at me. I took her body. Who am I?" And then he kind of goes back and controls himself, like, "Sorry, I'm sorry."
Yeah, I really enjoyed it when he took over the Doctor's body. It was just so funny.
I thought this is how they were going to retcon the Timeless Child.
Really?
Because I thought the way they were going to do it is the Doctor and the Master swap bodies, which means that the Doctor is the DNA that the Master has now is the Timeless Child, right? And then and then the Master would be a typical Time Lord with 12 generations, because it'll be in the Master's body. That's how I thought it was going to be. And then basically the Doctor would be Sacha Dhawan, and then turns into David Tennant. That's how I thought it was going to be. But then they went back on it. But that's how I thought. Like, oh, this is how they're going to retcon Timeless Child. But no.
Oh, I love the fact that Sacha Dhawan has got Jodie's earring. Like it's not even the Doctor's earring. That's Jodie's earring from real life.
It fit him too. It just fit him.
It fits him perfectly.
It's just,
it's so funny, and I love how his hair is so much shorter.
Yeah,
as well. Like,
I'm about to say he has like 5 o'clock shadow. He has shorter hair. It was nice. It was nice. The Master is he's turning off. Blah 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 blah. He wears an outfit which is made of all the former Doctor's outfits.
Yeah, well, not quite all of them.
No. So it's got the Seven's question mark jumper thing.
jumper and the tie.
You got the boat. No, the tie is David Tennant's tie.
Oh, was it David Tennant's
yes.
tie? Oh, okay.
The scarf from Tom Baker's Doctor, Jodie's jacket. I think he has whose boots does he have?
Oh, the boots.
I think
that might be the first Doctor's.
I think he had the third Doctor's boots.
Oh, the third. I thought he should have worn a frilly shirt as to be like the third Doctor.
You had the celery as well.
Yeah, he had I didn't notice the celery until Jodie got back into.
Yeah, I think so. That was the same. I only noticed it then. I was like, wait, you had the celery.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an error. Let me actually just check real quick. Was that an error?
Mean, probably not. It was probably covered by the scarf.
Maybe. Let me check.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, yes, that's the one's wearing the celery.
Oh, he isn't wearing the celery.
Pardon?
He isn't. When he first returned, he wasn't wearing the celery.
No, but he wasn't wearing the full outfit either.
Oh, that is true. That is just Jodie's outfit. Okay, when he comes back, let me get to that scene.
He like goes into the TARDIS and he comes out.
Oh no, he is wearing the celery. Yeah, he is. It's because he's moving a lot, so it like blends in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like when he's doing the message about like the world's gonna like when I'm the Doctor, the world's gonna explode. He's wearing the celery then.
I wrote in the group chat with me, you, and Jonah. Jonah's one of our friends who likes Doctor Who, but who hasn't watched the series because he doesn't like the series. He watched the first episode and I'm not watching this ever again. But we were talking about this, and I wrote in the chat, the Master's a dickhead for wearing all the costumes in one. He's just and I love it. These Master's.
It works so well. It actually really suits him.
He's just a big prankster dickhead right now, and it's fucking great.
And you said at that point you said this is my favorite Master.
Yes, and then he throws the Master out onto the planet. Throws the Master out and then travels and then takes the TARDIS away, and then the Master just takes out the recorder.
Oh yeah, no. Sorry, before that, I love how the Master says, "Oh wait, you'll come back."
I'll wait. I can wait.
And she does.
But he takes out. Seventh Doctor.
Second Doctor.
Second Doctor's recorder, right? Well, obviously, I don't think it's the same. I think it's just the idea of like recorder, right?
No, it is the second Doctor.
Is it the same one?
Same one.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's the same colour as in the Three Doctors, whereas in the others, it's obviously black and white. But it's clear from the Three Doctors.
And he starts playing it. He's just a dickhead, an absolute dickhead, and it's great.
Yeah, he is, and he's brilliant. That's how the Master should be.
The Doctor is now at this metaphorical jumping off point for a generation where she sees her former Doctors, which is the Seventh Doctor.
That was so good.
The Eighth Doctor.
It was 1, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes, I was really hoping we'd see Eccleston, but obviously he hates the BBC. So
yeah, well, I thought maybe he'd come back for Chibnall, but then again, I thought if he's coming back for Chibnall, then he would kind of have to come back for Russell,
and he hates Russell,
and he wouldn't do that.
I
was thinking at one point he'll have like one line. It will like suddenly like shift to his face.
Fantastic.
And shift back.
He just the moment Jodie's like, "We're amazing," and he just goes, "No, we're fantastic." And it's like, oh
no. Jodie's like looks into the camera and says, "We're amazing," and then Christopher Eccleston says, "No, the BBC is terrible."
The BBC is awful.
The centenary.
The BBC is awful. Don't watch the next episode. See you in November. Yeah. It's like, what? This is where I stopped writing my notes. But I wrote the Doctor reveals an AI hologram made of all of her past selves as a matrix to kind of be the Doctor in case the Doctor dies, to kind of prevent the Doctor being dead, which is cool.
Yeah.
But means whenever someone writes the Doctor dying, they have to remember about this, or say it's been turned off or something like that. You know.
Well, no. Something that's interesting about this scene, though, that I never really I wasn't really thinking about it. The set design. It's a cliff, and there's a telephone line, but it looks like they're on like Gallifrey or like Mars or something. They look like they're in a desert, but there's a sudden cliff drop, and there's a telephone line, and it's like, who came up with that idea? Like, who in the visual effects department like came up with that?
Because it's really good.
Like the telephone line in particular, it like makes me think of like a theatre set. Like you've got the two people on the scene, and you've got like the telephone line as the telephone pole as just something to make the set look interesting in that scene. Oh my, yeah.
It's
so clever.
It's only this. If only this era was this good constantly.
Yeah, exactly.
There would be no issues. I would be like,
oh, and then the shot where it's like Colin Baker, and then it goes behind, then the camera goes behind Jodie's jacket, and then it's Peter Davison.
So good, so good. As we move on, the Doctor does this whole thing, and Yaz uses the Doctor AI program to go help and get Vinda. During this moment, we also see Kate, Ash, and Tegan all Ash and Tegan try to leave by the roof parachutes. They got parachutes, but Tegan's kind of scared of heights and said, "No, I'm gonna go help Kate." She goes to help Kate, and Kate kind of reveals, "Oh, I've got this master plan to kind of crash down the whole building, killing all the Cybermen inside it." And then Tegan's like, "Well, I can help."
I've seen of two husbands.
Yeah, I was a stewardess in the 90s. I can do this.
In the 80s, early 80s.
That's it. I was a stewardess in the 80s. I can do this. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
That is actually such a cool reference to how she met the Doctor in the first place. Because what happened was she was driving to work. She worked at Heathrow. Like she was, starting her shift at Heathrow. And her car broke down on the M4. And the Doctor just happened to park his TARDIS like right next door, and she was like, "Oh, it's one of those old police boxes that used to exist like 5 years ago. I'm gonna go in." And then she walks in, and then what happens in the episode is that there's like another like the Doctor's been messing around, and there's like another police box TARDIS inside the TARDIS, and he and Adric are in the other room at that, like in the other TARDIS at that point, like, and so she's just walking around like, what the hell is this place?
I love this episode a lot. It's my favorite Chibnall episode. It's my 100% my favorite Chibnall episode.
It might well be mine. It's either that or Once Upon a Time. That was the only other one where I thought this is amazing. But actually, I will say, Once Upon a Time is like a Stephen Moffat episode, and this one is like a Russell T Davies episode.
It was they even do a callback to End of Time in this, but we'll get to that.
Oh really?
Is it End of Time? Is it End of Time?
Which one? The Davies story?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
No, not End of Time. Not End of Time. Sorry.
Part one, I think. Well, the cliffhanger, right?
No. It's the one where the one with Davros in it.
Journey's End.
There we go. That's it. Journey's End.
No,
yeah.
I remembered the reference I was thinking of, and it was when the Master took the Doctor's body. I said, "Oh, it's the Master race."
But no,
everyone is me. I'm President of the United States.
when it's an episode where they were having everyone control each sector of the TARDIS. And to fly Earth home, remember that? And in this episode, they have all of them have a sector of the TARDIS to help fly this planet through time to another point in time. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And
then the Doctor's in another one.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah. But as we continue in this episode, Tegan's kind of trying to go to the basement to electrocute all the Cybermen, and this is when the AI Doctor, because the way the AI Doctor comes up is whoever she zapped in this episode gets an AI Doctor with them. That was Yaz, Ace, and Tegan. So Tegan's one who forms, and originally is Jodie's Doctor, but it turns into her Doctor. And it's just kind of really cool. And it's
it was so good that they were able to get like closure with their Doctor, and then suddenly
both of them were able to get closure, and I'm like, that's
and then snap back to Jodie for the plot to restart. I mean, I said this before. I wish the transition had been like mid-sentence, but I'm glad it was like very clear closure plot.
Because then she and her Doctor kind of has a moment where she's like, "Did we mean anything to you? Do you even remember me?" And the Doctor's like, "Yes, I remember you." And she's like, "Oh, you see Cybermen rocking about? What do you think of?" And what did the Doctor? Adric. And I was like, "Oh." That's the best thing to
You've
say.
seen that, haven't you? You've seen that little bit where he dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so upsetting. It's like Adric is like the kind of person who's like he thinks he's got it, and like they're all leaving because they feel like they ran out of time, and then he thinks he's got it. He walks out of the lift. He's like, I've got it, and he starts working, and he's like, I haven't got it, and it's too late. And then at the last moment, he's like, "Oh, of course!" And he starts working on it, and then the Cyberman like shoots the control panel, and he can't use it. It's like he knew it. He just worked it out.
You could have given him a few more seconds.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, good.
If only he'd been like one brain cell smarter, he would have worked it out just in time.
True. But yeah, then she has a conversation with the Doctor, and she has this like side patch in the walls. Then we cut to Ace, who is in the volcano, and she gets another moment with her Doctor, and she was kind of like, Doctor, you left me behind. What the fuck?
Yes.
And the Doctor's kind of like, well, what did he say? He said something specific, but I didn't write the notes here.
It was It was sort of like when a teenager becomes an adult and they leave home.
Yeah, it was like the bird. They had to leave the nest. Yeah. It's like watching your children leave and seeing them fly.
I was only ever trying to teach you good habits.
And he talked about like seeing her fly and seeing and all of that stuff, and she was like, "Are we good?" And he's like, "No, we're more than good. We're Ace."
And I love that because Ace was a teenager. She's the only teenage companion. And while she was arguably an adult by the time her character left the show, like when the show went in the last season, I'm glad that I'm glad that her closure was more about her being so young.
Yeah, she even says like
60 as opposed to being 19.
Yeah, she even says like, "I'm sorry because I didn't realize how much pressure you always had on yourself, and now I do. Yeah. I realized I was in the wrong and stuff like that." And also like how they call the Doctor Professor. I think that's a nice call.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah,
I just like how she calls Doctor Professor. That's just really cool to me.
I feel like Bill was someone who should have called the Doctor Professor because he was her professor, literally.
He should have. But yeah, we cut to Ace going to...
You keep doing that.
Yes.
Everyone's going to hate you for it.
Ace going to attack the Daleks and explode it with... What was it? Some explosive...
The Nitro 9.
Yeah.
Souped up Nitro 9.
Nitro 999.
Yes.
And then she runs into Graham.
Yeah, she just bumps into him and it's like, oh, what are you doing?
Which makes sense because Graham and Ryan's whole thing was they're going to protect places on Earth while that's going to be their life goal.
It's a shame that Ryan wasn't in it. It really is.
No, it's good because I don't want to see them fucking go, "Hey, Doctor." I don't want to see that anymore. I'm done with that. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm done with that. But at the same time, it would have been nice to see if he had no lines, but he was just next to Graham. Like
interesting.
But
the actor Toshin's in like stuff, so like this probably wasn't.
He's for some reason he's considered the best actor of the lot, and he's actually doing stuff.
Bradley is great to see him again, and I love seeing Ace and Graham. Ace and Graham flirt with each other for a moment, and it's really funny. I was like, if they get together, I wouldn't be mad with that.
But yeah, I wouldn't be mad either, even though they're completely different eras of the show. Because normally, if they get together, they're from the same era. Yeah, but no. Later on, I like Graham and Dan together because you think they'd be far too similar, and they'd be like the same character, but they're not. They're actually very different.
It's actually really cool to see them together. Like, Graham
they're best
is
mates, but they're clearly very different people.
Graham very much has this feeling of being like your granddad, and then Dan has this feeling of being your uncle.
Yeah,
so it's similar, but they're slightly different.
I love the bit.
Oh, Chris crashed.
One episode where
repeat yourself.
Took her back to 1963, and
Chris,
1963. How old are you?
Chris lagged. You lagged. Repeat that.
Oh, sorry. Where did I cut out?
From the very beginning about talking about the joke.
Oh my goodness. So like you sort of mentioned this already with the fact that they're flirting, but I love the bit where Ace is talking about her adventure where the Doctor took her back to 1963, and Graham's like, 1963, how old are you?
It's great. It's great. We cut to Kate, and she's got like this wall of like lasers to protect herself from the Cybermen, and then she basically makes a deal with the Cybermen to say to let go of all of her unit operatives. In return, she'll give them information on all the world's leaders because she is the head of unit, and she'll probably know all of that stuff. And Ashad says yes, and they take her down to be converted into something. I was fucking scared for Kate here. I was like, do not, because I was like, someone has to die this episode. No one did, but I was like, someone has to die, other than the Doctor. I was like, someone has to die. Yeah,
the Doctor died.
I was like, someone has to die, but I was like, if they kill off Kate here, just when she's getting to do shit and she's gonna be cool, I'm mad. I was about to.
Who could you kill off? It would either be, Yaz, Dan.
I would kill off Yaz.
Yaz.
I would kill off Yaz. Yaz is an ultimate.
You know what? I actually don't mind how she.
I like how she left on like I'll talk about the ending in a second, but I would have wished that Yaz, like if I did it, Yaz would have died sacrificing herself to save the Doctor from the Master, and that's where she revealed that she loves the Doctor, like properly says it. You know?
No. I thought that would have been a good idea, but I actually really prefer how it happened, how she left.
Interesting. But yes, they take her down. As they're taking her down, they're walking down the stairs, the spiral staircase, and they hear Tegan nearly fall down and start shooting in the walls, start punching through the walls. And I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, this is the bit where I thought, okay, she might die here.
And then she falls, but apparently she doesn't die.
Well, I think what she did was she, because of all of the Cybermen, she just decided to drop in and like catch something further down.
No, I feel like she dropped and hoped for the best. Like, it's either dying by examination or possibly just breaking your legs. You know?
Yeah.
Either or.
But she didn't break her legs either, so I think she did just grab onto something further down.
Later on, we go back to the Master, and the Master kind of reveals his master plan, and they set off volcanoes in Indonesia, in Iceland, all of these places by moving the tectonic plates.
Thank you for waiting, my precious fam. I love how he makes fun of the fam.
Yeah,
because that something shouldn't have made in the first place,
and everyone hates the word fam.
Yeah. And it's brilliant.
And then as the Master is planning his master plan, out comes Ruth's Doctor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
And so it really is a multi-Doctor story, because she's the only one that actually appears in the flesh.
I'm like, what? But we realize it's the AI.
I forgot that it is a hologram.
Yeah, it's the hologram.
I can't believe I just said that.
It's a hologram being the Doctor that I think Vinda knows.
It's the one Vinda knows, or it's either that or it's the one the Master knows.
No, because he asked, "Who are you?"
Oh yeah, to be fair, yeah.
He literally goes, "I don't know who you are," because obviously no, she also says, "Who are you?" because she's never met the Master. Because she's before the first Doctor, so she has no idea of who the Master is, right?
But they went to school together.
Yeah, but she's before that incarnation.
Oh yeah, she hadn't met his version of the Master.
Yes, because you would assume that she's been the Doctor. Well, because she wouldn't have had her name the Doctor, because she wouldn't have gone to the Time Lord Academy, so she shouldn't be called the Doctor, which is another reason why that's a bit of a stupid fucking thing.
Yeah,
but let's not get into it. Let's not get into it.
I wish they'd retconned it, and she was like between the second and third Doctor or something.
That would have been cool. And then, or maybe she was like,
maybe she was someone else that just happens to be called the Doctor as well.
Maybe she was. They could have just said the division gave her an extra life to be this Doctor. You know?
Yeah.
Because the Timers can literally hand out lives like it's candy.
That was sort of the idea with the between the second and third Doctor idea in the first place, because as I said before, there's that fan film where they literally drag the Doctor out of the regeneration to do special missions, similar to the Division.
But after they do that, the master's like, ha ha ha, you're a friend of the doctor, you won't shoot me because Vinda has a gun to the back of his neck. And Vinda just shoots him.
I love how he's like, you're the doctor's friend, you're not going to shoot me. And then he just
instantly shoots him. And he's like, whoa.
Like, I'm freelance, bitch.
And Yaz is like, I like that I'm freelance. That's a really cool line.
Yeah,
this is the coolest Vinda's been. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it literally is. Like, Vinda is cooler than ever before. But what's happened to Belle and what's happened to Tigme?
Tigme.
He's literally just like left his girlfriend
this is
with
work,
a baby.
Bro. This is work.
To be freelance again.
This work, like, bro. He's doing work.
Is he a good guy?
He's just doing work, bro. Let him get his paycheck. Let him get his paper, bro. Leave him alone, dude. God damn it. But as they do that, they obviously killed the cyber. The cyber masters shot themselves by trying to shoot at the Roof Doctor, who was obviously an AI. So they
hold on. Wouldn't the master regenerate if he's been shot?
Well, if he's critically wounded and about to die, yes, but he's just been shot. He's not like
he's been wounded, yeah.
So they put the master back into the chambers to force regeneration. And they wait for the cyber masters to regenerate so they can take all of their...
got his body anyway.
Yeah, so
maybe that's why the doctor dies, because her body's been shot and the master's in her body.
Well, no, she dies because the fucking laser hit her.
Oh, true, yeah.
But yeah,
there's so many things that could have led to a regeneration.
There is. The cyber masters start to regenerate, and Yaz, by instruction from the AI doctor, uses the sonic screwdriver to force the regeneration energy to go into the machine, and that removes all the regeneration energy from those Cybermen, so those Cybermen are officially dead.
Yes.
And it forces...
Good, finally, as they should be.
Which is cool, because now we no longer have to worry about the fucking Cyber Masters. Which is insane.
Yeah. They're so stupid. It's like they're already dead. You kill someone that's dead, and they start regenerating. How does that make any sense?
Woo! Sorry. It's like... we go back to... We have this really cool scene of the Master with his face directly at the camera as he's pointing up to the sky, and he says that I'm like, don't make me become me again. Which just makes, which is really deep and is a really cool line that reveals how much the Master hates being himself. How like he wants to be the Doctor, like it calls back to Missy, right? Saying that she hates herself and she wishes she was like the Doctor, but she just isn't. And and I think this kind of confirms to me that this Doctor is after Missy's Doctor, because he has. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah, the Master is after Missy's Master.
Yeah, Sacha Dhawan's Master.
Yeah,
because
but I don't like that, because the whole point was that Missy was killed, like was properly dead. I know the Master lies, but like.
But also in this one, the Master's dead, and we know for a fact he's probably going to come back.
But I also want. I mean, it would kind of ruin the episode with a lot of the references. But I would have liked Sacha Dhawan to be before all of the other Masters, because the original Master is number 13, so. Then we need like 1 to 12 at some point, especially if you're like instead of trying to bring the Master back from the dead every time, you just go with an earlier version of him. That would make so much more sense to me.
Interesting. But yeah, he says the line of "Please not make me become me again" or something like that along those lines. I'm talking verbatim, ad-libbing it. But he says that line, and the fact that he was like, I want to. It kind of puts his like idea of like, I wish I was the Doctor. I wish I had a good heart like the Doctor, but I don't. And that's kind of a really cool line, and I really like how that reveals. But then Jodie turns back into herself, and she's got the whole costume, the celery, everything, and she
looks good in it.
Yeah, she leaves with Yaz and Vinda.
She looks like the Doctor there, whereas in her normal outfit, she just doesn't.
She looks like someone. She
doesn't look like the Doctor, but the outfit is more like the Doctor than hers.
I see what you're talking about, because it is just all the Doctor's outfits.
It is.
Then we go back to
rather than just some stripe, and
Kate is being converted, and I'm literally going, is she really gonna be converted? What the fuck, man? That stinks. But then Tegan is able to cut the communications, and a surge of electricity goes through the building, killing the Cybermen inside. Good job, Tegan. Great job. And they set the plant. They set the bombs to blow up the building, and they both leave. Then we go back to the
and the
TARDIS.
building just gets destroyed.
We go back to the TARDIS where the Doctor's kind of arguing with Yaz and Vinda about who the Master is and how much the Master meant to her, and kind of they talk about it as like how they used to be friends, and then they go to how they fix everything and how they're gonna get everything done. This is when they go to get Kate and stuff, but then that's when they leave the building. We also get a cut to Ace using her baseball bat, which is obviously the baseball bat she was given to by the Time Lords.
No, she's always had that baseball bat.
So no, I saw the Time Lords were like upgraded her baseball bat.
Oh, maybe they upgraded it, but that wasn't in an episode though.
Was it? So I swear I've heard something about her baseball bat being upgraded.
It may have been in one of the books.
The audio books?
But it wasn't on the show as far as I'm aware. She always had that baseball bat, and it was always the same kind of power.
But she whacks the fucking Dalek, killing it.
She's always been able to whack the Dalek with it,
And they go into the TARDIS and go away, and the Daleks get killed by the volcanic and explosion of the shit. And this is where the Doctor gets all the companions. Huh?
Oh, she whacked it, but it wasn't very well shot, and so you can't really tell that she whacked it with the baseball bat.
She whacked it in the eye stalk and like in the head.
I was going to say, I would have picked up on that reference.
But yeah, the Doctor goes and gets everyone and starts. She sends Vinda home. Everyone starts. She fixes Vinda's ship so Vinda can go back through the wormhole. She gets everyone to hold the TARDIS like it was in the Doctor Who episode I was talking about before, the reference before. Where everyone's like, where everyone's like flying the TARDIS and the Doctor's like, yeah, you hold this, Jackie. Don't touch anything. She kind of does that with Graham, as Graham's like, oh, what's this? He goes, no, don't touch that. So it's kind of like a reference to that. As they're doing all of this, they're getting ready to fly the Cybermen back,
which is just like the Death Star. Like the Death Star is like the other thing that
to destroy it. She asked the alien thing. I forgot what it's called. Let me get it a second. What is it called? I can't remember what it's called, Chris.
What?
The Quarunks.
The Quarren, yes.
Whatever.
The child thing.
Yes. They get that to basically use its infinite energy to destroy the moon planet. So Vinda leaves. They fly the planet somewhere safe to destroy it. And because they're in the vicinity of Earth, right? So they can't do it near that. And as they're doing this and the planet's about to get destroyed, the Master comes back and teleports to his TARDIS, leaves, and basically, as a final fuck you, directs the beam that the Quarunks is beaming into the center of the Cybermen directly at the Doctor, hitting the Doctor, and the Doctor is like passed out, and the Master's dead. Yaz comes out, holds the Doctor in her hand like it's the Doctor holding Rose. And holds her into the TARDIS, and they kind of wake up later on. I liked
that. I liked how she just went out and carried her. It's also a reference to the Fifth Doctor's final story when they've come into contact with this toxic gas, and there's only enough enough antidote for either the Doctor or his companion Perry, and the Doctor gives Perry the antidote. Perry's unconscious, and the Doctor's holding the antidote and Perry in his arms, and he's dying as well, and he's like running to the TARDIS, which is in a minefield. And he just about gets into the TARDIS, gets it to dematerialize just before the mines blow up, and then he gives Perry the antidote, and then he regenerates. And it's like the same kind of carrying in that case, the Doctor carrying the companion just as everything around them gets destroyed.
But yeah, And the Doctor uses the fucking Cybermen machine thing to turn all the explosions on Earth in 2022 into metal. Because the Cyber machine thing converts everything into metal, so it converts the lava into metal, saving the world, making, as the Doctor says, displays of public art.
Yeah.
And as that happens, the episode kind of ends, and the Doctor, everyone gets sent home, because Yaz is flying the ship as the Doctor's kind of knocked out. The Doctor wakes up, and the Doctor's like, about to regenerate. You can see the regeneration energy coming around their hand, and he says, "You know what, Yaz? Let's have one last trip." So they go.
Yeah.
They extend the oxygen bubble outside of the TARDIS, and they sit on top of the TARDIS eating ice cream.
Eating ice cream, just something as simple as that, just watching the Earth.
Which was actually kind of nice. It's beautiful in its own sense.
Hold on, I'm just looking at this shot. I think that's supposed to be set as viewers are watching it, because it's like all of the lights are on in the UK, but it's not quite nighttime. So it must be like 9 p.m.
Yeah, that'd probably be a detail.
Which is a really cool reference.
But yeah, it's like as if it's like happening now, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's obviously sitting in front of a green screen, but it's fine.
Yeah, well,
and yeah, they are. Doctor's really getting sad about the idea of saying goodbye. So Yaz is like, don't say goodbye.
Yeah,
you don't have to. So then they cut to Yaz leaving, and they don't say goodbye. The Doctor just goes back into the TARDIS, and dematerializes. And then you see coming out from the street. I thought it was going to be Ryan. I thought it was going to be his showing, but no, it's Dan and Graham.
Yeah, and I thought it was Ryan as well.
And they were talking, and they're like, "Hey, Yaz, what are you doing here?" Yaz is like, "What are you guys doing here?" And she's like, and they're like, "We're going to the meeting. Did you not get your invite?" And Yaz is like, "What?" And it's obvious, and apparently they're having a meeting of all the of as many of the Doctor's companions as they can, so they have people they can talk to about the adventures, which is, I think, is a really nice thing. Like having that focus group where, like, every week you can talk about your adventures you had with the Doctor, because they must have seen a lot of things that they can't talk about. Or having people who know the Doctor and stuff, they can talk about it. And then Kate makes a joke about, like, maybe we can hire you guys for UNIT, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yes. Which is kind of a reference to what we're planning.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're about to do an Ace TV show, right? They're about to do an Ace TV show.
Yeah.
That's
my idea.
God damn it.
But my sister said actually she wishes that like Luke was there from
that
Sarah
would be
Jane,
cool,
like part of the group, or like one of them
as like a representative of Sarah Jane, because obviously Elizabeth Sladen's dead. She passed away.
She couldn't be there, you know. Or K9 even, because officially Ace currently is K9's owner.
Is she?
Yeah. Well, I say officially. It was in that Goodbye Sarah Jane.
Oh no, that's official. That's official.
Yeah, but like, if K9 had just
Ian was there.
Ian was there, yeah.
Ian.
But had K9 just been next to Ace during that scene, it would have confirmed that the events of Goodbye Sarah Jane actually happened.
If people don't know who Ian is Ian Chesterton, who was one of the first
apparently
Doctors.
He hadn't aged since the 60s, but he's clearly aged.
he's one of the first Doctor's companions.
He is the first companion in a way. He's one of the first three.
True. That was really cool seeing Ian.
It was so cool, and all the others as well. You know, all of them are former characters. You know,
William Russell's like 80 something.
You've got Mel, you've got Joe, you've got everyone else who was in the episode already.
This is really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, the actor
you would think Ryan would be in this scene of all of them.
The actor for Ian is 97 years old.
He does not look it.
He looks like fucking 70, bro. He looks good.
Well, we're mid-70s, yeah.
He looks good for his
seriously, what's he called? Oh, what's his name?
He looks I'm honest to God, he looks absolutely phenomenal for 97 years old.
Yeah. Well, apparently he William Russell. Apparently he was still the headmaster of the school in the Capaldi era, because it's the same school in the first episode as in Series 8. And apparently he was still the head teacher there during Series 8.
That's interesting. That's really cool. But yeah, the Doctor...
1924.
He's old, bro. The Doctor leaves the TARDIS.
In a few months, he will be 98 years old. In less than a month.
He might live older than the Queen.
Probably, yeah.
Because he looks healthy for his age.
Yeah, he really does. He might be like the oldest man in the world before he dies.
Good, bro.
Which will be amazing for the show, you know.
Amazing for him as well.
Keep him. He's wearing trainers, for goodness' sake. Oh my goodness! Like, if keep bringing him back onto the show, because then it will keep his energy levels.
Get some stem cells. You know?
It will help him stay alive more if you keep putting him in.
But we go back to the Doctor. They cut this meeting with the Doctor's companions and the Doctor leaving the TARDIS to go regenerate together, and I think it's kind of cool. Because it ends with everyone talking. Yaz asking if the Doctor's okay because they know she's about to regenerate, and Yaz kind of goes, "Yeah, she's going to be okay because she's the Doctor." And then you get to the scene where the Doctor literally regenerates, and honestly, I think this is one of my favorite looking regenerations. It looks.
Yeah, I like how it wasn't in the TARDIS. She's gone to a place where she feels at peace.
Like, I like how Jodie's Doctor's regeneration wasn't sad. It was like, I'm ready to go to the next one. You know?
Exactly. And then she's gone back to David Tennant, who was the opposite.
It's like how Peter Capaldi's regeneration was like, I'm ready to go, but I'm gonna give a one last lecture to the next Doctor who's coming after me. You know, because he's kind of like the Professor Doctor. He's kind of like the teacher Doctor. But yeah, Jodie
she didn't have much of a speech.
No, she just said her thing. She's I'm gonna go goodbye, and then regenerated.
Yeah.
And honestly, it might be Jodie actually being sad, but she looked legitimately sad here. And I was like, I kind of feel sad for her because she could have gotten a lot more.
Oh, for goodness sake! If only I wasn't having a child, then I would be the Doctor forever.
If only
I need to hit my child because it's their fault. What?
Jesus!
Oh.
I also like how the regeneration energy starts to look like lightning and electricity instead of just like fire.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
I'm so annoyed it wasn't Shooty. I was like cheering, come on, Shooty, and then I just saw the waistcoat and I was like, that's.
But I realized, I know that a lot of people have no idea that a lot of people who are probably watching this have no idea that David Tennant was going to be in the 60th, and two have no idea that Shooty's the next Doctor. So this is probably for a lot of people who are not like really close Doctor Who fans like me or you or Tharies or people like that. They will probably have watched it and went, "What the fuck?
Yeah,
David Tennant's back."
So it looks like Broadchurch now. He looks older.
And it must be really.
Is this Broadchurch now? Is Broadchurch canon? Because it looks like that.
They're both because they were also both in Broadchurch.
Yeah, they were both in Broadchurch.
Also weird how
that was a show run by Chibnall.
It's also weird how it's been 10 years. 10 years since the 50th, and David Tennant looks younger here than he did in the 50th because of his hair.
Well, not 9 years. Well, and to be fair, he filmed that like 9 months ago.
Because of his hair, bro. They did his hair up, so he looks younger.
Hair, they did his hair properly.
I hated how he looked younger. And I hated how his hair was floppy and made him look older in the 50s.
I remember watching the 50th and I thought, oh, maybe his hair was a bit floppy like that in some episodes. It never was.
No.
Literally, not even in the episode where he was John Smith.
Bro, I tell you, they had a person on set who would literally re-spike his hair between takes.
Oh my goodness!
I saw it. I remember seeing it on Confidential. There would be a woman who go in. She would look at the last shot and re-spike his hair to make sure it looks the same.
Actually, I think I saw that on like the live when they were filming the 60th. I think I saw a bit of that.
Like but it's cool. It's cool. And David Tennant does
I love his first line. He's like, I know these teeth.
Yeah, yes.
Such a good reference to new teeth.
Exactly, it's the perfect reference. Because obviously, if you don't know how they do this, if a new showrunner is writing a new Doctor after regeneration, the new lines the Doctor writes is from the new writer. So these lines are obviously written by T. Davies.
And you can tell immediately.
And as we said before, you can instantly tell that this is shot by the Bad Wolf production company.
Bad Wolf, and it looks so much better.
It looks. It just something about it. There's more camera movement.
I remember you saying 5 years ago that Chibnall's like cameras were so much better than Stephen Moffat's, and they weren't. But this is a real visual upgrade.
It's not even cameras. It's just the way it's been used.
Yeah,
like it's slow pan-ins. The dolly effects, him saying, "I know these teeth," and then seeing your hands, like, what?
And then the what's
what? Bringing those back.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that that this is how Doctor Who should be treated. It's like in the past, it's always been like, oh well, Doctor Who, we can't really do much because it's it's not very popular. And Russell's like, who cares if it's not popular? I'm taking this out the BBC and spending my own advertising money on it. I'm doing it properly.
Because it's just, and unless, okay, Chris, let's talk about, let's give a little rundown of what you liked about the episode and a number out of 10.
Okay. I looking back at the episode now, I do admit that the first part was better than I thought it was. I loved. Well, I still didn't like a lot of the acting. I thought that it was something wrong with the director. Perhaps I don't know who directed. I think it was Jamie Magnus Stone, who was someone.
It was.
Who I've not really liked in the past. Shame it wasn't the guy who did Once Upon a Time. He was good. But no, honestly, I feel like this was a really well structured episode, and it's probably the only Chibnall episode to be properly structured. It's almost like it's almost like in this episode he's made a scene breakdown, and all the others he didn't, kind of thing.
Exactly.
And it was so nice to see all of the old characters again. So nice to have like proper references that only fans would get. And the reveal of David Tennant and having like Russell with the visual increase in quality, like it looks so good, and I'm looking forward for the future now. Whereas before, I haven't really. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
Are you going to ask me why it's not like a 9 or a 10?
No. Well, do you want to explain why? Do you want to explain why it's not a 9 or a 10?
Oh, well, yeah. I'd like to actually, because it's still got a few Chibnall shortcomings. Mm-hmm. The Doctor is still really bland. Mm-hmm. Well, Jodie's Doctor anyway. There's a lot of really bad dialogue. A lot of sort of stuff that you can see and you don't need to be told what's going on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the actors clearly couldn't say the dialogue properly. It's mostly that, really, but also that bit at the beginning with the weird train, and it's like, what the hell? That reminds me of the beginning of the first episode of Flux. And it's like some weird set piece to
introduce you to the episode, and why?
And it's not the kind of thing that I like. So it does still feel very Chibnall, but it is much better than before. It's probably on a par, but very different to Once Upon a Time.
So,
which I also gave an 8 out of 10 to.
For me, Doctor Who. This episode, Doctor Who. I really liked
I'm sorry.
the visual effects for this episode. I think they're stunning.
Yeah.
I really liked the use of old companions, not even just Ace and Tegan, but bringing back Ian,
and
Joe,
Kate as well.
Kate, because Joe was since Searching Adventures, I really love Joe.
Yes, I agree.
And
I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're beautiful, aren't you? You really are beautiful.
Because I also rewatched the scene where Matt Smith was talking about how he couldn't forget, Matt Smith was talking about how he couldn't forget Joe,
yeah.
And Joe was like, "You did remember me, oh Doctor," and I'm like, "Man, I love her. I want to see her again." And then I saw her again. I was like, "Yes, she's here." But I really like that the use of the companions, because that was one of my concerns. The use of companions would be really shallow, like Kate was during all of Flux, but it wasn't. Kate was even given stuff to do. I did feel this beginning it was slower than I wanted it to be, but then it did pick up as soon as the master started doing Rasputin. That's when it started getting. That's when it picked up for me. I was like, yeah. Sacha Dhawan is my favorite master. I think he nails it. He's done, because I see concerns people saying he just does everything all the other masters have done. I'm like, yeah, he does everything all the masters have done, and he nails it.
And that's he's the only one who has done all of the things.
Exactly, and he has nailed it. He's good.
Poseidon's better though. Poseidon would be better. Sorry, that's the guy who played the Red Saint.
But yeah, I like that. Some of the shortcomings is the same thing as you said. Some of the Chibnalisms where he explains to you via dialogue what they're doing that you can see, and you need to be and the use of the dates, like the nameplate dates. So like when they were transporting the Cybermen back to 2022, they had to say 1980 or 1909 or whatever, then said 2022 again, after the Doctor just said we're going to transport in time. And then after that the Doctor said, 109 years in the future. You don't need to tell me 5 times that they traveled in time. I can guess that from the dialogue. Like that stuff annoys me.
I preferred it when Stephen Moffat used to do it with like Series 7 and the 50th, where he would like make the date part of the establishing shot, and he would like make it sort of match. Do you remember what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, the 50th is probably the best example of it. So just watch that again.
I give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. I'm not giving it a 9, because it was overshadowed by what happened after it, and the fact that it was overshadowed by what happened after it makes me realize makes me realize this wasn't the best it could have been. It is the best Chibnall episode in my opinion. And if I've given another episode in the past a higher number than this, that's because of probably like recency bias during those episodes. But
the others are so bad it makes it look good.
This is the best Chibnall episode by far, leaps and bounds. And if
equal with Once Upon a Time, but
if most of the Chibnall episodes were like this, I wouldn't have an issue of this era. I don't like I don't like Jodie's Doctor. I still think she doesn't have anything within her that is Doctor-esque. She felt like someone trying to be the Doctor, not the Doctor.
This is probably the one era of the show to not have a 9 out of 10, let alone a 10 out of 10.
It's weird. And that's what we're going to go to the next episode preview, as we're going to call it, but it's not. It's a teaser for the 60th.
Which should have been the next time trailer, but they did it after the credits as the first half.
Whoa! That ship was beautiful. You can see the production value of Bad Wolf's. You can see the production value of that company. It looks great.
You've got Neil Patrick Harris. Have you seen the clip of Neil Patrick Harris, singing and dancing amongst like all the carnage? That is so Russell.
So me and Chris are big How I Met Your Mother fans.
We are.
Neil Patrick Harris.
And I also know Neil from A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Yes, he's also in that. But Neil Patrick Harris is we like Neil Patrick Harris as an actor. There has been some controversies between Neil Patrick Harris and the cake and parties and all that stuff. But as an actor and his ability as an actor, we respect Neil Patrick Harris's ability because we think it's really good. And I love the overt campiness of what we are all assuming is to be the Celestial Toymaker.
Yes, I think they announced he was the Celestial Toymaker.
No, they just announced he's one of the Doctor's oldest villains.
And then they had like a picture where it was like really obvious.
Obviously, if you know Classic Who, I think that's one of the first Doctor's villains, the Celestial Toymaker.
Yeah, it is. So we go right the way back.
So a very old villain. Which makes sense with all the bringing back of history of the Doctor and the callback to this episode. It just fits well. And there's two things in this teaser trailer that happened. David Tennant, the visual look, the lens choice they're using, the fact that they're using special effects now instead of VFX, So they're going back to the old days of just like, we're gonna do a car flip, explosions, people running in the streets. You know, classic Doctor Who. Going back to
Russell T Davies era, definitely.
Going back to that kind of feel.
Like Journey's End, where like everyone's thinking, oh, it's the end of the world, and Rose is just going through with her gun.
You like my gun? But then
it's like, the end of the world, darling. Have one on me, mate.
And then you see this one shot of Shutagawa doing the line from the meme that was in so basically there was if you don't know, was
it Sex Education?
Yeah. There was a set of videos where people were trying to get a feel of what this is a bit complicated, what the 14th Doctor would be like, who is actually now David Tennant, because Shooty's the 15th Doctor. Even
though they announced it the other way around before.
Yeah, before they announced Shooty's the 14th, but now David's the 14th and then Shooty's the 15th. So far, that might change when the episodes come out because of the story. Who knows? But they are referring to David Tennant's Doctor right now as the 14th Doctor. But when we thought that Shooty was the 14th Doctor during then, people wanted to see what Shooty's Doctor was like. So they made clips of Shooty in Sex Education, talking to like Daleks and Cybermen and all of this stuff.
Yeah,
and there'll always be that one clip where it was either the like you stupid pig. There's that one.
Yeah.
and the what the hell? What is going on here? Those two ones. And I love the fact that the clip that Shooty says in the 60th teaser is literally from the meme where he just goes, what the hell is going on here? And I love that.
And I was saying that might actually be his first line after
it might be, because you can see that Shooty's wearing the clothes that David Tennant wore.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't mention is how it's weird that David Tennant's clothing was generated from Jodie. That's weird.
Yeah, that was weird. Apparently it has happened before, but people are just stupid. It's basically when the first Doctor regenerated, it looks like he regenerates into the second Doctor's outfit. Second Doctor didn't have an outfit. It was just the clothes of the first Doctor that no longer fit him. It was just like the same outfits again.
But yeah,
it's just the first time.
That has been us. I don't know when we come back because we are not doing this as like there's no show to do this often.
We might go back to the whole
how we would do Flux,
like rewriting Flux. Yeah, because you probably still got reasonably far into it. Like
I've got a bit, and I also just recently rewatched Flux. I recently rewatched Flux. If you can hear that sound, I was randomly just lighting a lighter for no reason. I recently rewatched Flux with my friend Petter, this German friend I have. We recently watched Flux before we watched this. But yes, the joint.
It's been a long episode.
It's been a long episode. It's been a long podcast episode as well.
Yeah.
I said this to my friends in Discord. Doctor Who, in my opinion, is back.
Yes.
I feel like Doctor Who is back. I have not been hyped. I've not been hyped for Doctor Who like this in 5 years or so. I am sitting down here, I'm reading every interview. I'm watching David Tennant have a random 1 minute interview with the BBC.
Maybe we're even more excited than 5 years ago, because I don't remember us being this excited for Twice Upon a Time. And that was around the time we first met.
So true. But this has been I feel like a child again. I feel because there's one of my most vivid memories of watching Doctor Who, that I don't know why is one of the most vivid memories that I have. It was Christmas Day. I think it was End of Time Part 2.
New Year's Day.
One of those two. The episode was coming out. I couldn't watch it in my house because everyone else was watching the football. So I went to my neighbor. I went to my neighbor's house, and
your neighbors.
Yeah, no. But one of my neighbors, we were friends and we liked watching Doctor Who. So I went to his house and I said, "Can I watch Doctor Who with you?" And he had this big television, and we watched it. And I remember seeing the scene where the master's hitting the drum, Doctor. And I remember vividly seeing it on this big TV, going, "Whoa, this is so cool." And I remember the moment where the Doctor's dying, and I was like, and I was so sad. And then I saw the regeneration, and I saw Matt Smith, and I instantly went, I don't like him. I don't like him. Why is he kissing his legs? I was like, why is he kissing his legs? Why is he spitting on the TARDIS? What's going on here?
Why is that we're an awkward camera cut that makes no sense?
Why is he going, I'm a girl?
Yeah. I find that so funny. Personally,
I just didn't like that, and that's something that's vividly in my mind. Is that feeling of Doctor Who? And then obviously when I first watched the Matt Smith episode, I was like, I love this guy. This guy's a great Doctor. I love him. I feel that feeling as well. That one line Shooty gave, instantly I'm like, that feels like the Doctor.
Yeah, that is the Doctor.
That is the Doctor.
It was the line that's so Shooty as well.
It's just. And I think that's one thing that they didn't do with Jodie is you dirty pig. One thing they didn't do with Jodie well is having the Doctor feel like Jodie. Like I feel like they really.
The Doctor's got too much like Jodie and not enough like.
No. I don't think it felt enough like Jodie. I felt.
Oh really?
I felt like they have an idea of what the Doctor wanted to be. This really like sad, childish person, and said, "Jodie, can you act like this, please?"
Yeah.
Instead of going, instead of having it be an extension of Jodie as a person.
Yeah, no, actually, that was something that I read like this fan fiction that actually made me understand what her character was supposed to be. It was like this fan fiction about Thasmin, and it was supposed to be like the Doctor is like because the Doctor has all of these like horrible memories of war and stuff, and like friends dying and like stuff like Donna as well. Like the Doctor has just got this childish, bubbly personality to mask it, and then Yaz is someone who comes in and gives the Doctor like comfort and just like you can be, you can be it is as sad as you want around me. I don't care. Like I understand what you're going through, and like had that come across on screen, I probably would have preferred Jodie quite a lot more than they do.
It's because it just doesn't
actually feel like one of the Doctors.
It doesn't feel like Jodie is making the Doctor her own. It feels like she's reading the script and going, "You guys told me to be like this. I'm gonna be like this." Like she's like technically she's being a good actor, but she's not adding anything to it because she's not giving the material to add to
it. There was an interview which Jack Wolf, who's a YouTuber that I follow a lot with Doctor Who stuff, even though he doesn't do that much. Well, he did some editing to really show, like, to really make fun of Chibnall, and it was this interview of Chibnall and Jodie.
I've seen that. I know exactly what you're talking. They asked like, "Where's the inspiration?" She goes, "Oh, it all comes from the script," and then Chibnall's like, "Oh, it all comes from the actor."
It's all Jodie. Yeah,
and I'm like, "What? No. How does this make sense?"
Neither of you know what's going on.
Exactly. Because I feel like Tennant, because in this recent interview to the BBC were asking Tennant, do you feel worried about going back to be the Doctor? Like, do you feel like if you're the Doctor again? No, he was like, if you come back to be the Doctor again, do you feel like you would ruin everyone's opinion of you as a Doctor and their ranking of you? He's like, no, because I've come back and I feel comfortable being the Doctor. I know what my Doctor's like, and I trust Russell. And whenever I see a Russell script, I'm happy. So it's like that, and like Matt Smith will walk into the Doctor instantly. Capaldi can walk into the Doctor instantly. Eccleston doing his audiobooks walks into the Doctor instantly. You know, but I feel like Jodie.
Paul McGann as well. Which is weird. He's never had a consistent like showrunner.
But his Doctor feels unique. It feels like his version, but Jodie's doesn't feel like Jodie. It doesn't feel like like even Joe Martin's Doctor, the Roof Doctor,
feels much more
like her interpretation of a Doctor, you know. And
I would have preferred Joe Martin.
Fucking hell, even fucking Rowan Atkinson's Doctor. Like,
oh yeah, Rowan Atkinson's Doctor is good compared to Jodie. Like, although that's not how I would want him to portray the character. Like,
even he feels like an extension of a Rowan Atkinson character, though. But like, it is what it is.
We need to finish up now. Really,
I'm literally doing my intro now.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you for listening. Hopefully, you guys can get another episode. We'll probably bring out another episode soon of what we would do, as we would do, how we would do Book Out Flux. It's thank you guys for listening. This is No, I was going to say the G3 podcast. It's not. This is the Doctor Y podcast, which is on the G3, obviously. And we'll catch you guys soon. Say bye, Chris.
Bye, Chris.
Of course.